Jake Plummer, former Broncos quarterback, came out and said publicly.
And public kind of speaker now
Yeah.
for a guy who didn't say anything
Yeah,
for years.
he ain't too
now
bashful. All over social media, too. He says Brock Osweiler, the fourth year, can you believe Brock Osweiler's in his fourth year? The fourth-year quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who's sitting behind Peyton Manning, could start right now for 20 teams in the NFL. Too many, too few. Brock Osweiler, right now, start in the NFL for 20 teams.
Oh, of course not. How many
How about
good...
15 teams?
No.
10?
Well, I'd have to have in front of me all of the teams. He's not going to start for Tampa Bay and Tennessee, which needed quarterbacks.
True.
So he could start. He won't start for those two teams. You would agree.
Whoa, wait. Let's define this a little bit better.
Well,
is Brock
get Jake on the
Osweiler
phone.
today better than Mariota or Jameis Winston? Now, when he says he could start for 20 teams, I think what Jake is saying is he's good enough to start for 20 teams, and he'd be better than the quarterback. Right now, he'd be better than the quarterbacks they have right
Well, why
now,
don't we
regardless of draft status
Why
or
don't we
anything.
call Jake and get him
We
on the
did.
show
He was
tomorrow?
supposed to come on the show. He's traveling.
Well, where's he going? Tokyo?
Idaho. He's going to Idaho.
Do phones not work in Idaho?
I guess not.
Do phones
It's
not
Idaho.
work in a car? He's traveling. So we have to interpret what he's. Who did he say this to?
Who did he say it to?
Mile High
A blog.
Report. Oh, okay. All right. No, he couldn't start for 20 teams. I'll just take him at his word. I won't try to interpret it as you were doing. No, he couldn't start for 20 teams. There are 15 or 16 quality quarterbacks in the league. Last time I checked, there are 32 teams. So that means at the top, if I just, without looking at them and going through every quarterback, he couldn't start. I
Let me word it a
I
different
don't
way.
think he could
Hold
start.
on.
Based on what we've seen, Jake knows more about the quarterback position, but I don't think he watches any more practices than we do. Does he go out there and watch practices?
No.
What has he seen to prove to him? And I like Jake. I really like Jake, and I respect him, and I like hanging out with him. In Seattle, when the Broncos played in Seattle last year, we sat in the hotel and talked for quite a while. I liked him when he was here. I was the first guy to interview him when he came here in a one-on-one. I still like him a lot. He is totally wrong. Do you agree with him?
Well, let me ask it to you a different
No,
way.
I want to know. Do you agree
Well,
with him?
all right. Here's the way I'm interpreting it. Is Brock Osweiler better than 10, than 20 starting quarterbacks in the league right now? Is he better? If he were to take the field, would he be better than Alex Smith? Would he be better than Jay Cutler, who we don't count in the top 10? Would he be better than guys like that?
All right, so you're siding with Plummer.
And I say no. I say no. Because I don't know what Brock Osweiler is capable of doing right now. So I would prefer to have Jay Cutler. I'd prefer to have Alex Smith. Even though I'm not a big fan of those two, I think right now they are more ready to lead an NFL team than Brock Osweiler
How
is.
many teams
now,
do you
once
think he
Brock
could-
Osweiler gets some time behind center in meaningful games, meaningful
Right,
snaps.
but right now, today, that the season opened on September 8th or whatever it does.
He's probably better than about 10 quarterbacks in this league.
Really? How? Based on what are you basing that on? You and Plummer.
Well, there's a little bit of projection
My God,
involved
we got
here.
a plumber and we got a washing
keep
repairman.
well, hold on. Keep something in mind. I do watch him in practice. I do see him every day at training camp, and I have seen him all the plays he's played
Sure.
in the preseason.
And you were one of those people who
And
said
he
Tebow
looks-
couldn't play dead, and he led them to a playoff victory.
Are
So-
you really going to start with that?
Well, I'm just saying, watching practice doesn't mean anything. That's why I don't pay attention to it. I sit there like you do, and I talk to people, and I wait till lunch.
There is an element of projection here. There needs to be, because we don't know what Brock Osweiler is capable of doing. So I would project that right now, Brock Osweiler would probably be a better quarterback than about 8 to 10 quarterbacks in this league.
Give me 6 that he's better than, based on what we've seen out of Brock Osweiler.
Blake Bortles.
Well, based on what?
Brian
He's
Hoyer.
taller than he is?
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer is starting for who?
Houston.
I don't believe that yet. Okay, that's
E.J.
2.
Manuel.
That's 3.
Come on, you're asking me to.
I don't know.
Give me
I
a
don't know.
list of NFL teams.
Yeah.
Thanks,
See,
Jess.
let's go slow this down.
Okay. All right. So
okay
Hold
there?
on one second here.
Did you hurt yourself, Jess?
Nobody from the first page.
Here, give me the first page. Do I participate
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
show?
yeah. You know what? Geno Smith. I'd rather have Brock Osweiler than Geno Smith. I'm not a big Derek
Why?
Carr fan in Oakland.
Sure? Are you sure of that?
Josh McCown, who's going to be starting in Cleveland. How about RG3? Would you play him in front of RG3 right now?
No.
RG3s look terrible.
What's the difference between
I said 8 to
RG3
10.
and Brock?
I'm right around there.
Where? You said 3.
No, I just named like
I'm
6,
counting.
7 guys.
No, you didn't.
Nick Foles. How about Nick Foles?
Who's Nick Foles going to start for?
St. Louis.
No, I'm not believing that.
You're not believing that he's going to start for
I
St.
like
Louis?
Nick Foles. Nick Foles,
You can
2
have
years
him.
ago. Nick Foles, if you've got Nick Foles, had one of the great
Philly dumped
games
him
in the
off-
last 10
awfully
years.
quickly.
He had
One
a
game.
Well, okay, all right. That's one good game more than a dead guy. Would you agree with that?
Blake Bortles, and I'm sticking with it.
That's one guy. And I don't really believe you did. So, Nick Foles had one more good game than a dead guy. How many good games has he had
Who's the dead guy?
in
What are you talking
comparison to
about?
a dead guy? The people that are dead. How many great games in comparison to a dead guy has Brock Osweiler had?
Well, he hasn't had a good game.
He's had the same number of great
I'm
games
agreeing
as
with
a
you
dead
on
guy.
that. I'm projecting. That's what we're asking you
Projecting?
to do. Project. If he was the starting quarterback.
You're trying to interpret Cutler. I mean, not Cutler. Jake Plummer said he could start over 20 quarterbacks in this league.
Well, I don't
And
agree
you
with
named
that.
5.
I don't agree with that. I said 8, maybe 8 to 10, maybe.
All right,
But I don't know.
All right, let me ask you another question. You ask me questions all the time. All right, so we put him with Jacksonville.
Okay.
How many games could he win?
More than Blake Bortles. Whatever that is, it's more than Blake Bortles. He could probably win 5, 6 games.
If he had started for Jacksonville last year, he'd have won 2 games. That's my projection.
Maybe.
Okay, and you think he's better than Blake Bortles. Bortles won more than 2 games, and I just asked you. I caught you, didn't I?
Go ahead, say it. I rest my case. This portion of the basic stuff brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports, your source for the original
won like
motorcycle.
4.
That's Indian Motorcycles. Check out the newest line
That's 4
of Indian
more than
Motorcycles
him.
at Grand Prix Motorsports
where's
on
the guy?
County Line
Oh,
and
ooh.
Santa Fe. That is Shannon. She's named after your daughter. That is she looks good on that motorcycle. Way to go, Shannon.